Investing into dividend stocks can be one of the easiest ways to earn a passive income while still having the ability for your investments to grow in true value over time. But the reason I'm making this video is that many investors say they want a strong dividend portfolio, but many focus on the wrong things. So because of that, I'm about to break down the biggest mistake that dividend investors make, and I'll show you how I would build a dividend portfolio if I were to use either a normal taxable brokerage account or a Roth IRA to use in retirement where the taxes don't apply. But before we get started, my name is Sully. I run the company InvestLane with the mission to help others learn how to save and invest wisely to build lasting wealth. And all I ask is that if you do find value from this video, that you consider hitting the like, subscribe, and notifications button for future content like this. With that said, let's first quickly go over the biggest mistakes that dividend investors make. All right, so the first mistake is that many chase high dividend yields without realizing the damage that it can make long term. Now, if you've seen my content before, you'll know I talk a ton about ETFs, which stands for exchange traded funds, and they're pretty much a simple way for you to buy hundreds to thousands of different investments all within one purchase. And so the reason I mention this is because a great example dividend investors need to avoid is owning an ETF like the Global X Super Dividend ETF that has the ticker of SDIV, where you can see this fund provides access to 100 of the highest dividend paying equities around the world. But to sum it up, this fund has paid out a high dividend yield of roughly 9% over the last year, but its annual return was just about 0%, and that assumes that you reinvest the dividends. Crazy enough, if you actually took the dividends out as an income, your investment would have actually declined 9% in value without factoring the taxes you would have to pay on the dividend income. And so just to show you how bad this investment is actually done, if we look back from January 2017 to March of 2026, and we say that you put $100,000 into SDIV and take the dividends as income, then your investment would end up being worth $40,000 by today, which means you would have averaged an annualized return of negative 9.32%. Where if it were simply invested into the S&P 500, that $100,000 would now be almost $300,000 by today by averaging 12.24% per year after taking the dividends as an income. But besides that, another mistake is ignoring the tax efficiency of dividend investments, because many don't realize, but dividends are taxed whether you reinvest them or not. And so in a normal taxable brokerage account, dividends fall into two categories that are ordinary dividends or qualified dividends. Ordinary dividends are taxed as ordinary income in the range of 10 to 37% in federal tax, where qualified dividends are treated as long-term capital gains in the range of 0, 15, or 20%. Now, as you can see in this quick design that we created at InvestLane, you can see that a high income ETF like JPI that triggers the majority of the income as ordinary income tax, and it produced an 8% dividend yield recently, that would have ended up creating a 1.65% annual tax drag for a medium income earner in the 22% federal tax bracket. Where if that were instead the S&P 500 with VOO, that could pay close to 100% in qualified dividends if you held onto it long enough, then your annual tax drag would have dropped to being only 0.18%. All in all, the difference in doing this could easily cost anyone watching this tens to hundreds of thousands of dollars over time. And so because of that, the last mistake to mention here is using the wrong account placement. You see, the reason I'm about to show you two portfolio examples is because taxable investment accounts, they're treated differently than tax advantaged accounts like an IRA. To help you better understand this, notice that certain investments are more tax efficient than others, where growth oriented stocks or index funds are great to use in any investment account, but some of the least tax efficient investments like high income producing investments like JPI or JPQ, you would ideally want to avoid them in taxable investment accounts. In the end, to keep the most in your pocket after taxes, you really want to ensure that you use the right investments in the right accounts. All right, so knowing that, let's now go over the first portfolio, that is the taxable account strategy. The first thing here is that if you are just getting started, realize that the transition into a strong dividend income portfolio, it's going to be different for everyone, and the most important thing is to look forward to the potential portfolio that you could have and what type of investments you could actually use. For some that need to take quite some time to build this up, you would ideally want to start with more of the growth investments as you're younger, and then slowly transition over time into more of the dividend paying investments. By doing that, you can reduce the amount of forced taxes from the dividends up front, and even gain the ability for more growth potential throughout the earlier years. Now, on the other hand, if you have a lump sum and you're ready to invest and you're in a situation in your life where you're ready to start earning a passive income, if you don't need to build this up over time, you could just skip forward a few clips. But if you are one that is building up a dividend portfolio, the first approach that I would take is to invest in strong equities like the S&P 500 with something like VOO, IVV, or SPYM. And while the exact transition from growth to dividend investments depends entirely on your situation and how long you want to wait, let's say that you want to wait at most 20 years to have this portfolio built up. So knowing that, let's just say that you're 25 right now and you want by the age of 45 the ability to reap a good income from your dividends. Now, I built up a quick chart to show you a simple example using the S&P 500 ETF VOO and one of the most popular dividend equity ETFs that I personally like the most, that is SCHD from Charles Schwab. And with this, you can see how you could transition with just these two ETFs to build a simple yet strong dividend income portfolio over time. But before I explain the exact transition, if you didn't know exactly, VOO is actually the largest ETF in the market by having $865 billion in assets under its management, where the fund is super cheap to own by having a 0.03% annual expense. And just realize that this fund offers instant exposure to 500 of the largest US-based companies and is considered a gauge of overall US stock returns. And largely because of that, some of the top companies that are in the fund that you've likely heard of include Nvidia, Apple, and Microsoft that carry the most weight toward the fund. And then when we look at the Schwab US Dividend Equity ETF SCHD, the fund has a 0.06% expense ratio and seeks to track the Dow Jones US Dividend 100 Index, where it focuses on the quality and sustainability of its dividends. Which, not to mention, but some of the top holdings here include well-known dividend-paying companies like Chevron, Coca-Cola, or Home Depot, to name a few. All right, now looking back at the chart, to keep it simple, I pretty much said to start with 100% into growth with VOO, and every year as you invest more money into the portfolio, ensure that about 4% of the exposure is increased toward dividends so that you can gradually make this transition over time. But besides that, another thing to be aware of here is that instead of just reinvesting the dividends from VOO back into VOO, you could instead direct them and buy more of SCHD shares instead. And by doing it that way, you actually never have to sell VOO as you build up this portfolio up over time. Now, I'm just going to assume that you are starting with nothing, and every month you are able to contribute a total of $600, which is roughly $20 per day. If we keep this simple and say that you do this for 20 years and average throughout the time a 10% annual return by also reinvesting the dividends, then that means you would end up having a $430,000 investment portfolio. And so now that you have a portfolio built, we're keeping it simple and saying that you would have 80% in SCHD, which over the past 12 months, it has paid out a 3.4% dividend yield. And then if we put 20% into VOO, that has paid out about a 1.1% yield over the past 12 months. With this portfolio, you would now be able to generate roughly 3% of a dividend yield on average, which means on a $430,000 portfolio, you would be able to generate roughly $13,000 per year. And that means that you would bring in just over $1,000 per month. And best of all, even if you start taking the dividends as income, if you had this 10 years ago and started in January of 2016, giving it another 10 years, by today, it would now be worth $1.3 million, and your dividend income will only increase over time as well. Which also, remember, one very important thing here in a taxable brokerage account is that SCHD and VOO both offer close to 100% in qualified dividends. So if you just keep holding onto the investments long term, you may be able to avoid federal tax entirely depending on your tax bracket. For example, to be in the 0% tax bracket for qualified dividends in 2026, that means that you would need to have a total income under $49,000 if you're single. But don't forget that you can also factor in the standard deduction that is about $16,000 for those single in 2026, which means if you were to bring in just under $65,000, including the total amount of dividends that you earn, then your dividends would be completely tax-free at the federal level. Now, if you're married filing jointly, that would be about $32,000 added from the 2026 standard deduction, and placed on top of the $99,000 bracket, that means that you'd have to stay under $131,000. Not to mention, but if you don't fit that criteria, the majority of you watching would at most pay 15% in federal taxes, which really isn't that bad, considering that you can do this before retirement with all the flexibility that you want. Now, like I said, using just VOO and SCHD is a super simple portfolio to at least learn and start from, but also know a few other top dividend ETFs of mine that you could add and use in taxable accounts include WisdomTree's Quality Dividend Growth ETF DGRW or the Dow Jones Industrial Average DIA that both offer the potential for a monthly income. Or if you want the opportunity for growth and a strong income, the iShares Core Dividend Growth ETF DGRO is a solid choice, or even Vanguard's High Dividend Yield ETF VYM. Alright, so knowing that about building a dividend portfolio in a taxable account, let's now go over the second portfolio example, that is the Roth IRA strategy. Now, personally, the Roth IRA is my favorite investment account that I aim to max out every year before I invest in a taxable brokerage account. And the reason for that is because the structure behind it is that you first contribute after-tax money, which is money you pay taxes on in the year up front, where after that, your money grows tax-free throughout all of the years of investing, and once you reach the age of 59 and a half or above, assuming you've used the account for at least 5 years, then everything at the end you could withdraw completely tax-free. Now, if you can start this at an early age and consistently invest into it, I have no doubt that you'll have a successful retirement, and here's why. So instead of the taxable brokerage account where you put in 20 years from the age of 25 to 45, with this Roth IRA strategy, if you start at age 25 and use it until 65, that is 40 years to invest. And if you start with nothing, averaging 10% per year throughout the time of having it, by investing $600 per month, which is just below the limit for the Roth IRA, that is $7,500 for the year of 2026, which is equivalent to $625 per month, then that means at age 65, you would have $3.3 million. Now, even if you're over 25, the biggest thing to realize here is to just start as soon as you can and stay consistent, because no matter what, you're better late than never. But I have to emphasize that many that use a Roth IRA, they think it's great to buy dividend investments early on because the investments grow tax-free, so the tax on the dividend income, it really doesn't matter. While that is true and is a benefit, I am still firm on the belief of my motto, that is to invest for growth now to maximize the compounding on your money so that you can reap the most in tax-free dividends later. So when I create a simple glide path from going from growth to transition to dividends later, while this is a super simple example, if I were just starting now, I would put 100% toward growth with whatever can best boost the speed for this portfolio to grow strong without risking too much. To do this, my two favorite ETFs I recommend would be for growth with QQQ, alternatively QQQM for just simple buy and hold investors, then VUG or SCHG, and then I like to combine that with an S&P 500 ETF like VOO, IVV, or SPYM. There are many other great ETFs that you may consider adding for additional exposure, and I've made a ton of content on this topic, so if you want to learn more, I'll have more direct links in the description below to other free resources like videos, InvestLane articles, or even our free index fund cheat sheet. But since I'm on the topic, a few other ETFs I like that you may consider in a Roth IRA for the long term to add exposure, but still the opportunity for strong growth, would be mid-cap exposure, where I currently like the momentum with Invesco's XMMO, small cap exposure, where I like the value-oriented with AVUV, international with a developed option that is VEA, or an international momentum ETF like IDMO. The momentum options are really nice to think about if you believe a bull market is ahead, and another option that you may like here would be the S&P 500 momentum ETF SPMO. And then for additional exposure, I like to add some Bitcoin with Fidelity's FBTC, and then gold through Spider's GLDM. But as far as the chart I created, think of the Roth IRA to invest in growth 100% until you're about the age of 50, where at that point, slowly transitioning to dividend investments would be ideal to set yourself up for when you actually retire. Which, don't forget, but depending on your situation and what other savings and investments you have, bonds are also a great strategy to consider to reduce volatility, stabilize a portfolio, and still reap an income. But as far as the change from growth to dividends or even bonds, whatever you choose, the best part about this is that even if you have to sell your growth funds to make the switch, in an IRA, you would not be taxed to make that change. And I say to wait until you are about the age of 50 because if you have at least 10 to 15 years of a time horizon, from all the research I've done throughout the years of investing and making content, broad funds like the S&P 500 have almost always returned a positive return for the long-term investors. But best of all, say you build up this nest egg for your future with a Roth IRA, getting that to $3.3 million, if you end up having 75% in SCHD and 25% in VOO, grow, that would be roughly an average dividend yield of 2.8%, which would be $92,000 of a dividend income. And don't forget the best part, no matter what situation you're in, that is completely tax-free. And even better, your portfolio would continue growing over time, and it's very likely to last the rest of your life. Now, one very important thing to realize here is that you can easily have more than 2 funds, and you can easily change your investments around however you want without triggering taxes. For example, you could simply add 2 high-income ETFs like JPI and JPQ, where if you were to do so, you can see your average yield now would be 6.2%, which means you could actually take an income of about $205,000 per year completely tax-free. And even after taking that income, that still gives you the ability for your investments to keep up with inflation. All right, so knowing that, the main things to take away from this video, remember, it's to always aim for growth early on, to slowly transition to dividends later. And if you're using a taxable investment account, always aim to own qualified dividends. If you wait and build up a Roth IRA for retirement, remember everything is tax-free down the road, so even tax inefficient investments like JPI and JPQ, the tax efficiency doesn't matter, so you could easily transition a strong portfolio to earn a 4, 5, even 6% yield without damaging the portfolio, and the majority of you would not even need over $3 million to live the lifestyle that you want completely tax-free. And also realize that, at least for me, after doing this for many years now, these are the only 2 ways that I would even consider building a dividend portfolio for. Now, like I said, I have created a ton of content around these topics and even run the company InvestLane, where our mission is to help others learn how to save and invest wisely to build lasting wealth. So if that interests you, don't forget to subscribe with notifications on to both channels so that you never miss a video. Now, if you want to check out our entire free index fund cheat sheet or other top investment platforms in the market, like I said, I'll have direct links in the description below for you. At the end of the day, I want you to do what's best for your finances, but do know that depending on the ones you choose to get started with, I may earn a commission for it, which is greatly appreciated. And as always, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and notifications button for future content like this.